Several minutes of commercial-free football starts now. Here are the Purple Mortgage Guys.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Purple Mortgage Guys, post-Thanksgiving edition, joined with Goose and Tanner. You guys in the mortgage business, I just love talking Vikings football. So I want to preview the Bears game for Monday night. Get some bold predictions. We'd love them from the audience as well. And Tanner's got some tidbits for us going into the game, as well as a little feedback on what we want to watch for if things don't go as planned, what that might look like. So if you've not yet subscribed to our channel, go ahead and do that. We'd love to have you follow. And we also love any comments. We like to read those on the next show then as well. So guys, we'll jump right into it. Monday night game, prime time, playing the Bears for the second time on the season. Vikings are favored by 3. First game in Chicago was an ugly, ugly victory, but nonetheless, it did kind of spark a train there of some wins. So, Goose, we'll start with you this week. What are you most looking forward to for Monday night against the Bears?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully an offensive rebound. A cleaner football game. I'm hoping that we see a little bit more of our receivers in action with Addison and hopefully Powell making some critical plays. And then you always wonder with Hawkinson playing through the injuries that he's playing through, if it's going to be something that bugs him all year, or if he's able to get progressively better week to week, or if it's just getting re-aggravated every week because he's taken plenty of rib shots every week. So I think just hopefully seeing our offense kind of clicking again and moving the ball, and then our defense doing what they've been doing all year. It's going to be tough. It looks like Fields is playing better than he was earlier in the season, so it's gonna have to limit him as a runner, make him beat us as a passer, and but I think it'll be a good game. It's good to get him at home.
Tanner, it sounds like Jefferson's probably not playing. I don't think it's official yet as of recording here. It's Saturday afternoon, halftime of the Michigan-Ohio State game. So, Tanner, do you look for Jefferson on Monday night? Do you think it's an absolute necessity that he's out there, or would you just as soon rest him up for 2 more weeks and come back after the bye ready to roll?
Yeah, it sounds like it's pretty likely that he's not going to play. I think we've seen news leading up all week to pointing towards the direction that he's not going to be suiting up, which is totally fine with me. That gives him 1 extra week during the bye week to get fully healthy for our final run here at the end of the year. I think we can definitely beat the Bears without him too. Although the Bears are kind of a team that look like they might be playing spoiler here towards the end of the year. It doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs, but they looked pretty good against Detroit last week. And Detroit's a pretty good football team, as everyone already knows. So this is a pretty big game for the Vikings. It might not look like it since we have 6-7 weeks left and we're sitting pretty good in the playoff picture. But this is a game that we have to have if we want to stay in the running for the NFC North. So I would say if they lose this game, division is looking pretty bleak, being 2 games behind the Lions. We do play them twice yet, but I would say that they probably have to win this game if they want a chance to win the NFC North yet. So if not, fighting for that, probably the 5th seed at best.
Yeah, it definitely feels like if you want to keep pace with Detroit, you've got the 2 games, obviously, like you mentioned, but you've got to win a game like this at home going into the bye. I just hope they're not looking ahead to the bye too much on a late week game going into a Monday night because they've got that time off. But feels like after what could have been and should have maybe been a victory, bouncing back, feels like it's kind of inevitable, but we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, only a 3-point spread, so it's probably going to be a lot closer than the 3 of us would like. And who are we kidding? The Vikings don't blow anyone out in the last couple of years, so it's probably going to be another close one. Tanner, you've got some tidbits. You do this for us weekly. What do you have going into this game for Monday night? What are the tidbits looking like?
Okay, so the Vikings are 66, 57, and 2 all time against the Bears. They have had their number as of late. They have won their last 5 matchups in a row against the Bears. So probably due for a loss here at some point, but hopefully it's not this week. They're 39 and 24 at home in Minneapolis against the Bears. The Vikings are 31, 33 all-time on Monday Night Football, including 18-9 at home. They are 8-7 against the Bears on Monday Night Football, but they are just 2-4 against them at home in Minneapolis. They actually have a better record against the Bears in Chicago on Monday night than they do at home in Minneapolis. The Vikings have not played the Bears at home on Monday night since 2010. The last 3 matchups have all been in Chicago. Josh Dobbs will be making his first career start against the Bears this week. And Justin Fields is 0-3 in his career against the Vikings, including 0-1 in Minnesota. In those starts, he's thrown for 183 yards a game, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and an 84 QB rating. Fields also carries a record of 4-13 in road games into Monday night. So the Vikings have had Justin Fields' number in those 3 matchups. The Bears are looking just about as healthy as they could possibly be. They do not have a single starter on injured reserve heading into this game. The Vikings have 5, including 2 key role players. Alex Madison needs 53 yards this week to pass Herschel Walker on the Vikings' all-time rushing list. I know we mentioned this last week. I'll bring it up again. We're entering Week 12 this week. Alexander Madison has not scored a rushing touchdown yet this weekend. Our starting running back has not scored a touchdown.
Does that change this week, Tanner? Put you on the spot. No RB1 rushing touchdown going into the bye.
Chicago has a very good run defense. It's probably the strength of their team, actually. Trivia for you guys. Alexander Madison is no longer the lowest graded starting running back in the league as of last week. Do you know who is?
I'm drawing a blank. You're going to have to give me that one. Goose, do you have any idea?
You're on mute, buddy.
Oh, Deontay Foreman.
Well, he's not
the running back we're playing. I don't know who their starter is anymore. They're rotating him.
It's Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert's been on IR for like the last 5 weeks. He did play last week. Before that, he was on IR for a while. So Khalil Herbert is the starter, and then they have 2 guys, Roshan Johnson and Deontay Foreman, that they rotate in and out. So it is Austin Eckler.
Oh, wow. I almost guessed him because that clip of his breakaway run has gone viral.
I'm not very happy about it. Drafted him in our work fantasy league, obviously, and he has had a few games where he's put up 20-plus points, but for the most part, he's been a massive disappointment this year. I think he's playing hurt, though.
Do you want to tell our audience who you drafted him over?
Christian McCaffrey, who I also would have never pegged to be healthy all year.
Yeah.
Very true.
Danielle Hunter is looking to make some history this week. It's doubtful it's going to happen this week, but he's getting closer. He needs just 3 sacks to pass Jared Allen on the Vikings' all-time sacks list.
Wow.
6th place. So not even 30 years old yet, and he's already there. So it's a pretty cool number, and he's actually missed 2 seasons, I would say, or 1.5 seasons. Anthony Barr needs 4 tackles to reach 500 for his career as a Viking. Did not get a lot of playing time last week. I'm hoping that he sees the field a little bit more. Troy Dye, Jordan Hicks' replacement, had just 1 tackle last week. Turd. Kevin O'Connell's 2-3 in primetime games, including 1-1 on Monday Night Football, but he is 6-2 in his career against the NFC North. Fun fact, the Vikings have 2 of the NFL's top 5 highest graded tight ends this season, minimum 200 snaps. Josh Oliver is the 2nd highest graded tight end in the league for PFF. TJ Hawkinson is number 5.
Number 5. I feel like Tanner would not have TJ Hawkinson number 5 on his list.
Past few weeks have been pretty good, but leading up to that, not a big TJ Hawkinson fan here.
I got to mention to our audience the Thanksgiving afternoon conversation in in my extended family's household involved my nephew Gavin telling me that he watches Purple Mortgage Guys during his study hall. I don't know if he's supposed to be doing that or not, but he went out of his way to tell me he's subscribed on like 4 different channels. And he agrees with Tanner on TJ Hawkinson. So for whatever it's worth, Tanner, you do have one follower that is on the Tanner Hawkinson bandwagon. So expect more.
I appreciate that vote of confidence. Glad I'm not the only one.
Can you imagine, though, what our offense would have looked like these past 5-6 weeks without JJ and without Hawkinson?
Like a Tyler Conklin instead, or what? Or just
Probably like
Johnny
New York.
Just Josh Oliver would have been the guy by himself. But
Yeah,
Probably like the New York Jets offense.
yeah.
not that bad.
Christian Darrisaw remains the NFL's highest graded tackle through 11 weeks of play. And then I did want to mention one name on the Bears side. The Bears defensive end and former Viking, Yannick Ngakoue, is the lowest graded starting edge rusher in the league through 11 weeks.
Oh,
As for the injury report, it's looking fairly clean. Doesn't look like JJ is going to be playing again this week. He'll be back after the bye. And the Bears are just about as healthy as they can be as well. They don't have any starters that probably aren't going to play this week, although they do have 4 rotational guys that did not participate yesterday. I don't know if today's injury report has been released yet, but Larry Borum, their backup tackle, did not participate. Deontay Foreman has not participated. Mercedes Lewis, the backup tight end, and Noah Sewell, the backup linebacker. He's one of their special team aces too. He has not participated either. So to close things up, just got a couple team rankings I'd like to share. The Vikings, once again, continue to remain first in the league in overall graded pass protection. They're number 1 in the league in pass pro. They have moved all the way up to 7th in run defense, which is just wild. It's probably the best run defense we've had since 2017. We've had some pretty awful run stoppers here the past couple of years. So that's super cool to see what Flores has done in such a short amount of time. And as for the Bears, their offense ranks 4th in the league in rush offense. They're averaging 139 yards a game on the ground. And they also have a fantastic rush defense, ranking 2nd in the league in run defense, averaging or allowing just 79 yards per game on the ground.
Those are tidbits?
Those are my tidbits for
Awesome.
week 12.
Well, what do you guys think? Is this going to be a high-scoring game, or is this going to be an ugly, low-scoring game similar to the one that was in Chicago a few weeks back?
feels like an ugly, low-scoring game to me.
I think it'll be pretty average, but I have to say I don't feel good about the expectations of the game. I feel like most people just expect that the Bears aren't very good and we're going to go in and win this easily, but it just doesn't feel like that to me. I always play down to the level of competition.
We're very good at that. We play to the level of the competition. This team more than any other one in the league, it feels like, for many years now.
Very
Maybe
much
it's
so.
just well, let's get into some bold predictions then. Goose, we're going to start with you again. One thing that you see happening Monday night against the Bears in the game could be on the Bears side, Viking side, coaching, something weird, whatever. Give us your bold prediction for Monday night.
Tanner, did Daniil need 3 sacks to tie or pass Jared Allen?
He needs 2.5 to tie and 3 to pass.
Okay, well, Daniil is going to pass Jared Allen on Monday with 3 sacks. I think Justin Fields, he's a mobile quarterback, which sometimes you try to do too much. He's going to be scrambling around, and Daniil's our athletic freak that we're going to need to contain him. So Daniil has himself a game.
Okay, that's bold. Tanner, what do you got?
Yeah, I have some concerns about the contain this week. I feel like Jordan Hicks has always done a really good job of limiting mobile quarterbacks for us in his time here, and I just don't trust Troy Dye to do that. So I'm kind of curious to see how the Vikings handle Justin Fields on the ground this week. I don't have any thing to back up my bold prediction. It's just a feeling because it hasn't happened for a while. And I'm going to say Harrison Smith gets a pick this week.
Take that. I'm going to go with our kicker. Real exciting, I know. I think he's going to have 3 field goals exactly on Monday night, 9 points.
All right.
Guys, what's the final score looking like, and how does this play out? Goose, start with you. Vikings are favored by 3. I think they're like a 65% chance to win the game outright. But what do you see happening there, Goose?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I mean, we're going to have stretches of good football. I think it's going to be a little sloppy though at points, and kind of a battle of who makes the least amount of stakes. And if there's a team in the league that's going to out mistake us, I'm hoping that it's going to be the Bears on Monday. So I'm going to say Vikings win 23-16.
All right. Tanner, what do you got for final score? How does it unfold?
But you were going to steal my prediction again, Goose, because we were pretty close last week. I am going to go. I think you said the spread is 3 points, Brent, and that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to say the Vikings are going to squeak this one out. I feel like they're going to play sloppy and win it in the fourth quarter. So I'm going to go 23-20. Greg Joseph at the buzzer.
Nice. That'd be his 3rd field goal then at the buzzer. You guys are spot on the 23. That's what I had written down. I thought Goose was going to steal mine as well, but Tanner, I went the other way. And Goose, on our last recording, we said they're going to get some 2-score victories here, and no better time than the present to start on that.
Yep.
Vikings win 23-13. And I'd still think, even though we win by 10, I think it feels ugly, to Tanner's point. So we'll see how it unfolds. But I think Joseph tacks one on at the end to make it a more comfortable victory, 23-13. So, guys, we're going to be shocked if they don't score 23, right?
Yeah. If we lose this game, we also can't have any more unanimous win predictions.
That's
We're going to have to retire that.
Just to clarify, Brent, your bold prediction was Greg Joseph has 3 field goals?
Yes.
Exactly.
3.
No more, no less.
Okay. 9 points of contribution.
And 2 extra points. But nitpicks. We'll go with 11. All right. What if things go wrong? They do come out on the short end of the stick again, guys. And we're complaining going into a bye, and then we've got 2 weeks to stew on it. It be a 2-game losing streak at that point. And we'll be going to Vegas with a Raiders team that's kind of turned it around a little bit since they fired the head coach. So what are we going to be talking about? This feels painfully obvious right now of what we'll be talking about, but I'm going to let you guys pick up the easy win here. What are we going to be talking about if they lose come Tuesday?
I think it's going to be the same thing we've complained about in all of our losses this year, and I would say that's going to be turnovers. So I would say I can't imagine Alexander Madison would not be able to take care of the ball this week. I think that's going to be a point of emphasis for him in practice this week. So I'm going to say it's because Josh Dobbs gets careless. He leads the league in QB fumbles, I think, or he's tied with someone. So fumbles, and then maybe trying to do too much and making throws that he shouldn't be trying to make.
Goose, you gonna ditto that, or you got something separate for the audience?
I would say ditto, which I think would naturally lead to way bigger issues. Like if that's what happens, we're going to be headed into a bye week of like, do we keep riding with Dobbs? Do we go to Mullins? Do we go to Jaron Hall? I think this part is probably a no-brainer, but do you bring JJ back if you're losing? You're back to 500. It sparks so much uncertainty into a long bye week that I really hope it doesn't happen, and I hope that we don't look super sloppy.
Who's going to be the QB2 on Monday night? Is it Mullins? Is that kind of a given?
I would assume it's probably going to be Nick Mullins.
Okay. I think you're right on there, Goose. If you go down the path of a loss, there's a lot of potential perceived controversy or real controversy with the starting quarterback, what the ceiling is on the season, if it's really a playoff team, and if it is it one and done type of thing anyway? And if you win, convincingly, which I thought we were going to do in Denver last Sunday night, but it didn't happen, then I think the narrative changes completely, which is kind of the NFL in general. It's week to week, and it's way too high, way too low type of thing. I'm kind of on that. I mean, we're all in the same boat there, is don't turn the ball over and you win the game almost every week. If you just don't lose the turnover battle, we're probably a 1 or 2 loss team at most. I would say, just to go with a little different wrinkle, like if we get a lead and we're playing well, let's just step on the gas and put up 27, 30 points and just blow a team out. That would make me feel really good going into December.
Do you guys feel like KOC has gotten like ultra conservative when we have a lead?
Second half, KOC feels like different than the first half, depending on if he walks into the locker room with a lead or walks in tied or behind.
Feels like a Zimmer team in the second half.
It does, and I don't know why.
But I didn't feel like the play call felt that way. Like I felt like our play looked bad. Like I don't know.
Go watch the second half. Go watch the second half of the Saints game again. Tell me if you feel the same way.
All right, I will.
It was brutal. I mean, you won't have to watch much if you're just watch the offensive side of the ball in the fourth quarter. If you have 5 extra minutes today and you can fast forward, you'll get through it all, because it was that bland. So like
they're just not throwing the ball, you feel like, or is it the type of throws, or
it just feels like very predictable run pass. Tanner nailed it. It feels like Mike Zimmer is in the headset in the second half. I don't know why. I think KOC is an awesome coach. I think he gets very conservative, like kind of like Kirk. So maybe they're wired more the same than we would have thought 6 weeks ago. So, all right, guys. Any other closing thoughts for Monday? Else, I got a few over-unders for you to predict.
I just think that Josh Dobbs is going to have to play well this week. I think, like, with his arm, not necessarily his legs, just because the Bears have such a good run defense. They do a good job of limiting teams on the ground, and I think that's going to be their one key to keeping themselves in this game. So we got to limit Justin Fields' opportunities to be on the field. Although he hasn't been a great quarterback this far in his career. The one thing about mobile QBs is they can keep their teams in the leg due to explosive plays and switching momentum. So I just think they got to find a way to keep him off the field or get him rattled and cause some turnovers. If we can find a way to put Dobbs on the field with a short field, I think we should be able to walk away with this. So
to that point,
let me give you go ahead, Goose.
Real quick, to that point with Dobbs, we said it sometimes with Kirk, it was just way less because of Kirk's athleticism. Like coaches pushed for Kirk to take the opportunities to pick up 8 yards and a first down if it was there. There's been a couple times where I think Dobbs is like, I don't want to be pigeonholed as like a mobile quarterback. Like he had a couple like rollouts where no one was in front of him and he was looking and looking and looking. And I was like, you got 8 yards, like go get your 8 yards, slide and pick it up. So I know there's not going to be a ton of opportunities, but on a pass play, if you don't have anyone open and you can go get 6, 7, 8 yards, take it, get down, keep moving the ball.
Yeah. That would have been a great, I'm trying to think when it was, fourth quarter in Denver, rolled out. If he would have kept the ball instead of handing it off. I know it's not a probably decision he had. It was just a design thing, but I feel like there's a little bit more to unpack there that could make the offense a little bit more explosive. Do you guys think over or under rush yards for Dobbs this week? And we'll put it at 35. Over or under?
I'll take the over.
Tanner?
I'll take the under.
Over under rush yards for Justin Fields. We'll go 45.
Over. I don't like Jordan Hicks being out of this game. I think he's going to have a big day on the ground.
Goose, do you feel like Fields has more rushing yards than Dobbs, just to clarify?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that was an obvious one. Turnovers, Josh Dobbs. The number is 1.5. Over or under? fumbles or interceptions.
Over.
Oh gosh. I'm gonna say under, and it's more hopeful than like factual thinking, because I think he also has to have it in his mind of like, there's only so many more turnovers I can have until my time's up. So I think it's going to be in his head too to take care of the ball, and if it's not, then his time could be up.
Okay, over under.
I don't think it's necessarily even with his arm. Like you can control like how you limit your turnovers with your arm, but there's just like something about mobile QBs that they try to do so much. And I mean, you see how many times has he like dropped his head and turned around in the pocket and like ran into one of his own guys. Like most of the time he does get free from that, but I think that can also get you in trouble. And it just feels like he's like bound to have at least one fumble per week. So I'm going to say over.
Over under on Justin Fields turnovers 1.5.
I'm going to take the over on that too.
Same.
There'll be a lot of turnovers in this game is what you guys are telling me.
Yeah.
Hence the ugly game, ugly victory mindset going into it.
Yeah, there's going to be a quarter or so of like hot potato of like neither offense wants the ball.
Ty Chandler, number of carries, over under 12.
Carries or just touches in general?
Yeah, just touches.
If we're including receptions, I'll say over.
I'm going to sadly say under. He had 10 carries. I don't know how many receptions he had against the Broncos, and the game plan against the Broncos was to run the ball. So as much as I think he deserves more, I'll say under.
All right. Trying to think if we got one more in here for an over under. Over under TJ Hawkinson yards, reception yards. 72.
It's a good number.
That's a really good number.
For the record, I do not look anything up. This is just gut feeling, so I'm probably off on some of these. But I must have known
this is a good number though, because Edmonds is really good, super tall, athletic. He's gonna without knowing what the Bears rank against tight ends, seems like a tough matchup for Hawkinson.
Jermaine Edmonds isn't even their stud linebacker though.
I just think about his size and speed though.
I'm gonna say over. I think TJ will have over 72.
Over 72? Okay.
I'll take the over as well, just because he's our number one. Like, he's going to have to.
They have a good connection. Him and Dobbs have a pretty good connection, it seems like. So
we'll do one more prediction here. Starting quarterback going into week 17, assuming the game matters. Is it still Josh Dobbs? Nick Mullins? Obviously, we're not predicting injuries. We're predicting.
That's a really good question, Brent, actually. That's I feel like we could actually almost do a whole separate segment on that.
Yeah, well, good thing we got a bye coming up next week. We're going to need something to talk about. It'll probably be clearer come Sunday night about 10:30.
I'm going to say Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs is a starting quarterback week 17.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be Dobbs too. I'd like to give a different answer, but I feel like if you're a smart head coach, you don't – like I just feel like that shows a lot of like lack of confidence in your team if you make a switch that late in the season. Like if you're making a playoff push and you're like, hey, we're going to make a change at QB, I think the only way that happens is they would have to lose 4 in a row. They'd have to lose to the Bears, Raiders, Bengals, and Detroit at home, I think, for that to happen.
So if he turns the ball over 3 times and we lose to the Bears, you're not making a move?
Do we win?
Feel like a guy like no, if 3 turnovers and a loss to the Bears, you're not putting a guy like Mullins or Jaron who.
I mean, that would be the right time to make the switch because you have a whole bye week to prep somebody against the Raiders. So yeah, I think for week 14, I would make a switch there, but I think like Brent's question specifically said week 17.
Well, by week 17, who's going to be our quarterback? And if we make the switch now, it's going to be someone else.
He would have to play. He would have to play very, very disastrous against the Bears for them to make a switch, I think. And a loss, they would have to lose.
Isn't this amazing that if that game in Denver last week turns out just a couple plays different, we're not even – I don't even ask that question. It's not even on anyone's radar. But because of that, doubt starts creeping in. One bad game here, now all of a sudden it's a talking point for 2 weeks. So it's going to be an interesting one. If they play well and they can put a team away like Chicago, which they should be able to do. The good teams in the league do that. It's probably a non-talker. If they struggle, even if they win, struggle, and they lose, probably got something to talk about for the next couple of weeks. So we'll see how it unfolds. Guys, thanks for jumping on. If you're watching for the first time, hit subscribe. If you've got any comments for us, throw them in the comments. We'd love to read them on the next one. Give us your prediction for Monday nights. And we'll be back again next week to recap the Bears game and look ahead to the bye. Probably have some discussions on quarterback in the future and maybe make some end of the year predictions as well as middle of the year type awards so far. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, everybody. And we'll hopefully see a win Monday night.